My name is Guillermo Padilla. I'm 22 years old, been here since 2017. When you think of a laptop, you think of like endless, I feel like I think of endless like information, and like when you open it, like there's different programs of like different math and like there's different types of subjects on there that you could like learn about.
My name is Brian White. I'm a juvenile rehabilitation counselor here at Green Hill, focusing on the transition reentry department. With the staff, it was just, letting them know that, hey, these are secure books. You don't have to worry about them. That's not something you have to worry about. They're not getting on the internet with them.
So, hello, my name is Ronald Ackerson Jr. I'm currently 21 years of age. I have been incarcerated since I was 16. I leave here when I turn 25. Kind of like, there's like folders already, like when you first get it, there's already folders of certain things that are downloaded, and there's a folder with like games, and there's like, the games are like educational games though. Before I was in math, I was already kind of looking at these programs, like refreshing my brain, like when I knew that I was going to start taking college class and get into it, like it's like, okay, let me feed my brain some of these things right now before I go there. So like I feel like it helped with that. And if you just want to learn it on your own, you have the ability to be able to learn it on your own. Word search dictionary there, like that's probably one of the most helpful things, honestly, because like to go grab like a dictionary and read through and try to find the words, it's like so like that laptop, every time I come across a word in my readings or anything, I heard him grab my laptop and I can just type in the word search, and then it makes me more curious to just look at more words on there. So I just kind of started to look around. There's like history on there, so there's stuff about like ancient places and different things like that. There's a travel one. It's like it shows all these different countries and places, and it's like, wow, it makes me like, I want to go there. There's different clocks on there, world clocks, and different time zones, like because different places I want to go, I'm just curious about different things like that. Like there's a resume, this is another thing, there's a resume app on there, how to build your resume and do a resume and stuff like that. There's budgeting on there, I kind of just make like fake budgets or budgets that I would want to do, like with the careers or the things that I want to do, based on the salaries of that and stuff. And, you can do that, like trying to understand financial literacy, something that we're not really taught that much that the laptop offers, so the different apps on there really do help. The TED Talks is another thing that I forgot to mention. The TED Talks, like, that made me like watching all of them, like I want to do like public speaking, and that like kind of like opened me up to like see all the different speakers and how they speak and present and different things like that. And then some of the topics that they're talking about also, like things that I like didn't think too much about or wasn't sure about, or I had different opinions about. I kind of looked at it and just kind of like started to form different ideas about different things because of those videos. So yeah, the TED Talks I feel like are very inspirational and could help uplift a lot too. Like ever since we had the laptops, I feel like it helped me to like think about more things and want to do more things because of having the laptop, if that makes sense.
I'm Stephanie Ewing. I'm the living unit manager for Yakima Cottage. I've been here 19 years, and I house primarily the older females on this campus. So I work with youth that are usually 18 to 25. So currently I have a caseload that's in Chinook Cottage, and he has a long history of aggression, and they have to go modified a lot in that unit, unfortunately, because they've had a ton of staffing issues. They've also had a ton of behavioral issues that have made it unsafe to program them all together. And when I was doing assessing some behavior, and he held it together, and we were kind of trying to figure out why he held it together, and he said, well, I went in my room and I found a guided meditation on my secure book, and I did a guided meditation, which I thought was really cool. And he actually brought me the secure book because I was like, there's guided meditation on there, and he was showing me the guided meditation he did. So that was probably the coolest thing I've seen, and he shared that really helped him.
Well, I'm Tony Howard, and I am at Echo Glen Children's Center. I got in trouble in my cottage, and I had to stay in my room for a while. And I was scrolling through it, and I was really irritated, but I was trying not to get like in trouble even more. So I went to it and I just listened to it. It was a 32-minute video, and I just listened to the whole thing to help me calm down. And I went to sleep after. It was actually really soothing. It was about just relaxing the body and mind. Just like was saying just to like lay down flat and feel how you're feeling, like how your legs feel and what you're thinking about and all that stuff.
Honestly, like being incarcerated, being in this kind of setting, away from the world, like that's the closest thing to technology that we have, and like to learn like keyboarding, how to type, like I'm not a good typer. I'm one of these type of typers, but like I had the chance to like actually try, like, sometimes I do actually try to get my form and like actually try to do it without looking and stuff like that, like practicing things like that like we don't have the opportunities to practice, like those are real skills that I'm going to need, like and just different things like that, just being able to be in sync, like being able to move the mouse and like be up to date and understand like settings. So I feel like it really is helpful for this kind of setting to like kind of like in some way keep our minds updated, in a way. Like you can't get on like internet or anything like that, but like as far as like all the programming and just a computer itself, understanding how to work in computer, especially as times are changing and technology only keeps growing and growing, and like I feel like we should be able to like have those skills, because eventually we are going to be released into the community and we are going to need to understand some of these things.
The guys that have used them, that are in like trying to get their GED, that have gone in and actually talked about going into the Khan Academy, going in and finding stuff like that. That's huge, because I mean we have a guy right now who is getting ready to release. He's like 23, can't do high school anymore, hasn't had his GED, and he's been struggling with it, and he actually uses this right now, and he's using it to help him get his GED, which is something that wouldn't have happened in the past.
Paige Baldwin. I work at Green Hills School. I've been here for about 3 years, and recently I was promoted to the program manager for the Transition, Reentry, and Vocation programs. Before my current role, I was the education coordinator, and I worked with our IT team to provide youth with laptops. Writing is therapeutic, and music is therapeutic. I've seen guys grow in confidence, grow in maturity, just having access to, normal things in an institution setting. And I think that individual growth is really important. And it's because I have access to things like the Secure Book.
So just being able to have those type of skills to be able to manage how to use a laptop and stuff like that is going to help you regardless of what kind of path you want to take. I kind of want to learn about aerospace engineering. I forgot what it was called, but where you could like look at different career paths and like see like the salary and stuff like that. I was actually going through that one day, and it kind of popped up, and I was like looking at like what they do and stuff like that, and like the type of salary they do, and like what you need to be able to get into that kind of field. And that's kind of like what sparked my interest. Right now I'm getting a general AA. This is my last quarter before I get my degrees.
My name is Liz Grant. I'm Dean for Corrections Education for Centralia College. They saved us through the pandemic. Short and simple. We had used the laptops to support the face-to-face interaction that we had with students prior to the pandemic. Fortunately, we had gotten into the habit of loading all of the course material onto the laptop at the beginning of the quarter. And when the pandemic hit and we had entire units and entire facilities shut down and quarantined, that gave students the ability to continue to work and to access the information that was on their laptops. So it enabled us to finish quarters that would have been completely lost otherwise. We've had some students that, in order to finish their degree, they may need a class that we're not offering in that particular quarter. So it's enabled us to be able to do an independent study with the laptop materials, and students are able to then communicate back and forth with the instructor that may not necessarily be doing face-to-face.
Actually, I was excited, to be honest with you, because again, with what I do dealing with college classes in the past, they would have to handwrite stuff, and then I would have, because they're not allowed access to our computers, I would have to take their papers, go in and retype them, and then submit them off my computer. So it was a lot of work on me to do that. So by giving them the laptops, it actually created less work for me to do. So, and then guys actually spent a little more effort, put a little more effort and a little more time into doing what it was, because they had a laptop to do it now, and it was a lot easier than doing handwritten stuff. So I was actually excited to get it. When we first started out doing college classes, we only allowed them to do one class because it was handwritten. It was a lot of things. Now we've got kids now that are taking 4 classes at a time, and they can do that because they have their laptops where they can download all the stuff that they need on their laptop, take it back, and still work while they're in their room. So it allows them. We've got guys that are a cohort that's getting ready to graduate with like 9 guys from Centralia College with their associate's degree. So and this has all been within a year and a half. So it's amazing with what they can do with having this technology now. That was something that would never have happened. We've had one guy that graduated last quarter with his associates, but he had spent, before that came out, he'd been here a while, and he was doing his own classes with Seattle Central, but he struggled because it was 1 or 2 classes at a time, and it took him a long time to get there. And now these guys, like I said, they're being able to truly get their associate's degree within a 2-year period, which never would have happened before. I've been, thrilled to have them here. They're very useful, very productive. Our youth are benefiting from them, and so I think that's the biggest thing, is when your youth can benefit from something, you should probably have it.
Yeah, so my name is Joseph Burr, but I go by Joe, and I work at Centralia College. I teach English composition, developmental, and college level, and I'm the academic advisor at Green Hill School. The useful side about the secure books is that the students are in a class, and it doesn't really seem different than anything that a normal experience would be on our main campus. The protocols, and just kind of show them that this is what college is like, the expectations. The success, I will say, is by the time they're in their 2nd or 3rd quarter, they are indistinguishable from our students on main campus.
Man, so we actually changed the norm around Green Hill campus. Being in college is now like a necessity to everybody. Everybody wants to finish high school and get their GED so they can hop into the college program. We went from having 8 to 9 people in college to having 44 now. So, and that's just been in the past 2 years. We have 8 people graduating this December, including me, and then the following spring we have another 8 to 10 people graduating. So it's been like a snowball on a mountain, you know what I mean? When it started going downhill, it just fluffed up. And no, they think it's cool to be in. Back when I was on the streets, it was 5 years ago, it wasn't the norm to be in college or in high school. People in the streets always thought of that as being a square, and somebody doing that as a sucker. You're supposed to be in the streets. Like, what are you doing, The norm's changed dramatically since then. Me being here, even when I got here, actually the college program kind of saved me. Coming from DOC, I was still very political in the sense of I was gang affiliated. I was, excuse my French, but on bullshit. Like, you know what I mean? I wanted to fight everybody, still angry at the world. College program saved me, Being in there actually helped me develop the skills that I needed to last and to actually be able to see a life outside of the gang, And I'm just happy that I'm happy that we changed that norm of it being, oh, you're a sucker for being in school and you're a square for being in school, to dang, I want to do that. I want my AA, like having that. So I just signed off my graduation application yesterday. So signing off on that just made me like super happy. Like I can just walk across the whole world on feet, like, and I just want that experience for everybody. And I'm glad that everybody's trying to finish their high school diploma and finish their GED so they can actually get into college and experience what I've been experiencing. I came here with my GED, but I was under the age of 21. So when you're under the age of 21, they, by law, have to put you in high school. And I fought them because I had to. I fought and I fought and I fought. And I actually wrote a little kite to Paige, Abigail, and asking her if she can get me in a welding program, if she can get me in a college program, if she can give me anything to get me out the unit and out of high school. And she did that. And one of the things that influenced that was my older cousin, Keenan Kennard. He influenced me getting into college. He told me that the road that I was going down, he had already been down. And then there was nothing at the end of the tunnel. There was no light, no nothing. And so that's what really changed my perspective on what I was doing and what I was doing it for. I didn't have it, and if I didn't have the college program, I don't know where I'd be right now. I'd probably be back in DLC. You know what I mean? Probably be back in Walla Walla, which is close custody. And I probably wouldn't have the mindset I have right now, and I would be failing as I was on the streets. So having that secure book and having access
to even all the games on there, you know what I mean, to keep me out of trouble, to keep me out of everybody else's business. It's just been helpful, you know, and there's little things in life that, you know, you never show too much appreciation to, but that's something that, like, I probably never showed that much appreciation to and never really thought on, like, dang, if I didn't have this, where would I be?